I picked these nuts up today at Costco. The pistachios are a 3-pound bag, and the cashews are a 2.5-pound bag. So that's 5.5 pounds of nuts. It's usually just Mr. Eden and I here at home, so we don't have the ability to eat all of those in a reasonable amount of time. So today I'm going to show you how I vacuum seal them. I use my stovetop for a lot of things because my farmhouse kitchen is not as big as I'd like. I keep this noodle board on half the burners so that I always have a little extra counter space, because of being an actual farm and growing a lot of our own produce and canning meat, there are almost always canning jars on our counters. So in this case I'm starting with the pistachios, and I put the funnel in the jar. Then I'm just going to dump the nuts in. That's hard to do with one hand. Okay guys, I do have a tripod. I guess I'm going to have to get it out. I've been trying to do this the lazy person's way, and I overfilled it a bit. So let's dump some of these to the next jar. And I'll be back when they're all filled. I wasn't sure how many quart jars this would take, but it looks like 3. And I have just a little bit left in the bag. We'll eat those in probably a week or so, so I'm only going to put them in a closed up plastic bag. And then just pop your lids on. You don't need rings for this at this point. See those extra canning jars in back? I was canning meat earlier today. And then I'm going to use my vacuum sealer. It's a USB rechargeable electric mason jar vacuum sealer. And the lock there is because this is for both regular mouth and wide mouth. You can see on here it's labeled regular mouth inside. You twist this off and you can use it on your wide mouth jars. So I'll be right back when I have that twisted off. Okay, it's all set, and if you can see, it now says wide mouth in there. You just pop that on top of the jar and hit the start button. I'm going to try and talk over this. It says to run it for about 45 seconds, so that's what I'm going to do. The timer there will tell you when it's done. And then I'll show you how it's sealed. Anyway, to run it, you just put it on and you press this little start button. I think I did that at the beginning of the video, but I want to make sure I got it covered. Here we are, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Turn it off. Might take me 2 hands to do this. Yep, I'm going to have to bring it up by me. Put it on the next jar so it's ready. And you can hear how that is sealed. I'm going to seal the other 2 and I'll be right back to you. Okay, they are all 3 sealed now. You can tell by the sound on them. But also, if you pick it up by just the lid, it sticks. So these are now vacuum sealed and airtight. All 3 of them. And this little dealy bopper, I will put a picture at the end of this video showing you what it's called from when I bought it. But I don't know if you saw, it is currently at 68% full. I've owned this for several months. I've charged it once when I first bought it. So it holds a pretty good charge for a really long time. And it does great on sealing all my things like nuts, flour, sugar. I don't really like to seal sugar so much. It gets a little hard. I can do rice and pasta with this. So those of you who are canning in your oven, maybe stop and spend the few dollars on the sealer that I just showed you. It'll be a little safer for you, and you won't have to heat up your house while you're doing it. Happy sealing! Oh, I forgot to mention, I put the rings back on these to go into storage, not because they need it, but if they get knocked around or whatever, I don't want them to knock loose. And also, it gives me a good place to store my rings. And you'll see why I need a good place to store my rings in just a second. Every time I start a new pack of jars or need new jars, they all come with rings. I have more rings than I know what to do with. These are currently hanging on bungee cords in the stairway to my kitchen, and when the cords are full, like they are for this regular size ring, they will go out to my canning area in the garage. But right now I'm just filling them up and storing rings, so this is why I store my vacuum sealed jars with the rings on them. Here's a picture of the jar sealer that I bought. It's from the Love Movement store, and it's just called the Electric Mason Jar Vacuum Sealer Kit for wide and regular mouth jars. As of today, it's about $24 for the one in black. It does come in other colors, and if you can see at the top, I purchased this on February 6th of this year. So it has gotten a lot of use to still have only charged at the initial time. I don't earn anything from Amazon or from this company for promoting this. I just love it, and I want you to be able to store your food safely. I know I mentioned earlier some of the things that I store. I also do dried beans and rice. My dehydrated goods are stored in these. I only keep a little bit of those in the cabinet at a time. And I even have a box of matches stored in one of these and vacuum sealed tight. So I use it for anything that I want to keep dry, I want to keep away from air, that I want to preserve a little bit longer. The thing is wonderful, and you really need to get one if you don't have it already. I do have a jar attachment for my Food Saver vacuum sealer and my backup vacuum sealer, whose brand I don't remember right now. But it's so much easier just to grab this out of the drawer and seal up a jar than to pull out the whole freeze dryer and hook up the attachment to it. So you really need to get one of these. If you have one of these, what's the most unique thing you seal with it? And if you want to get one, what's the first thing you're going to seal with it? Drop a comment below and let us all know. Maybe we can get some new ideas. If you have one of these, what's the most unique thing you seal with it? And if you want to get one, what's the first thing you're going to seal with it? Drop a comment below and let us all know. Maybe we can get some new ideas. If you like my videos, please take a moment to hit the like button. And I'd also appreciate it if you would subscribe.